rooms with people that at probably 2 years ago I would have felt like I wasn't qualified to be around because they're on probably a whole nother level than me that I'm not at yet.
Mm.
And so it's kind of like at first I used to be very nervous when I got into those rooms, but the more that I realized that God don't put you in a room that you're supposed to be in. And
Come
even
on.
though you may feel like you're not qualified, he already qualified you before you step foot in that room.
Come
So
on.
I walk in with that confidence knowing that God got my.
What's up, guys? This is Killing the South in the Black community, and we are back with another interview talking about navigating our identity with courage. And today I have Imani on here. But for you guys who have been rocking with me, and for anybody who is joining, Killing the South is a nonprofit where we talk about the disparities in the Black community, reaching out for help, embarking on the unfamiliar journey of receiving help when it comes to mental health, and heavy highlight in suicide. So today I got connected with Imani, just a little backstory with through LaShawn because we are both jump starters. And it's just jump, sis, when not only just the biblical aspect of us just joining as Christian women, but all us just being entrepreneurs, also pushing the Jump Nation and LaShawn vision, but also being built to be our individual entrepreneurs and grow more as Christian women. So I'm so excited to have you on and just talk a little about yourself and introduce and let my audience know who you are and what you do because you contribute a lot to the community, your community.
Yes, yes. First, I want to say thank you for having me. And like she said, my name is Imani. I am a nonprofit founder of Brown Girls of Tomorrow, a mentoring program. I am also a certified life coach. In addition to that, I am also a virtual assistant HR consultant. And that's a little bit as far as what I do on the entrepreneur level. And for me, the biggest thing that I love to do basically all the time is giving back. So I'm glad to be here today.
Absolutely. And the Killing the Silence family, not just only me, we are excited to have you. And as we dive into this little series, so just to start off, can you share a little about your background and upbringing and how it influenced your sense of identity since we're talking about navigating that identity with courage?
Right. So I am Columbia born and raised from South Carolina. So
South Carolina,
I just gotta put that little tidbit in
put
because
it on the map.
right. So Columbia born and raised. I lived here all my life. I grew up in a single parent household. I watched my mom fight against adversity. We've been evicted. We've experienced homelessness. And I think a lot of my experiences growing up kind of got me to where I am now. Like
Mhm.
even though those look like challenges, those challenges was to build me up so that I can overcome adversity. And honestly, I really feel like that played a really big impact on my identity. In the beginning, it was a little challenging,
Mhm.
especially as I started to grow in business and even in corporate America. There
Mhm.
still was a little like a issue with I want to call it imposter syndrome, which a
Okay.
lot of people deal with because I'm so used to living a certain kind of lifestyle. So as
Mhm.
my lifestyle is improving and getting better, it's like, God, do I really deserve this life? Like, am I really living authentically myself? Is this like, so getting used to that was an issue before, but I had to understand that I am deserving of those things
Come on.
because God said so. And
Mm.
so, that's just kind of a little tidbit as far as that is concerned. But I definitely do feel like that played a big major role.
Absolutely. And I mean, just you sharing that because unlike you, there's others that can resonate with your story growing up in a single parent household and just having that mentality shift, the shift from the poverty mindset to like how you said, I am deserving of what God truly has for me. Like I said,
Yeah.
I can only imagine, did you feel like, because it sounds like you felt a little bit of guilt because that wasn't something that you were used to. So just trying to navigate in that. How did you navigate that, if I may ask, just kind of if you were to talk to the audience?
So for me, everything is in my faith.
Mhm.
So when I start second guessing or having an issue with something, I'm sorry. I go back and I go talk to God about what it is and get the answers that I need. Because that was a challenge. It really is harder than people think because you live in a survival mode. You're
Mhm.
trying to figure out who you are in this new season. And the only person I feel that can give you that answer is God.
Okay.
And I would have to say that. Like that's the only answer or the only source that I feel can help you overcome in that area sometimes when you need that extra clarity.
Absolutely. So, as far as growing up, just diving in a little bit more, did your household, were you guys strong faith believers, or is that just something that you learned to lean on God the older that you got?
So funny story. I grew up in like kind of a two religion household. So
Hmm.
I grew up in Christianity, but I also grew up with the Islamic faith. My name is Islamic actually, and most of my mom's family is Islamic. But now they transformed, they went over to Christianity. But so it was really tug of war when I was a kid, like trying to figure out which faith to believe in. But I think as I got older and started experiencing life in on my own, it I lean more to Christianity.
Hmm.
And that was really my source, and it's still my source that gets me through those tough times.
Yeah. And then that made me think about too, and then I'll move on to my next question. But it makes me think about like the older I got because of how traditionally the society, I feel like they push more of religion versus a relationship with God. I really had to learn God and unlearn some traditional things so that I could actually build a relationship with him. Did you experience some of that? That's what I'm hearing before, for the fact that you had the Muslim, I mean the Islamic, and then the Christianity is just like I understand the foundation of both,
Right.
but I'm connecting to one more than the other.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say that the relationship I have with God is real deep. We rolling deep. So
I
so
know
yeah,
that's
I
right.
would definitely have to say that. So yeah. I would have to say it's definitely that relationship. Um, and I lean more to Christianity. So that's definitely true for me.
Yeah, that is what's up. So what has been some significant moments or experience in your life that has shaped your understanding of who you are?
I would have to say when I started my nonprofit 4 years ago. I honestly did not know what my purpose in life was. I can tell a story that when I was about 16 years old, I remember crying on my grandmother's living room floor, like, I don't understand why all of these things have happened to me. I don't understand my purpose in life. And when I
Mm,
started my nonprofit, I did not know what was going to transpire. I was just going with what God was telling me and leading me to do. And in that, I started to discover who I was because
mm,
I've always been somebody that likes to be behind the scene. I don't like to be seen. I don't like talking that much. But he stretched me and pulled me to my capacity through the work that I do with mentoring girls. And that has made me get out in front of people, talking more, and
mhm,
also understanding that I am smarter, stronger, and wiser than I thought that I was. And it
mhm.
pushes me to be the best version of myself and also do things that I never thought in a million years I would be able to do. And so I would have to say that was the moment for me is when I started my nonprofit in 2020.
Yeah. And what was like that transition like? Were you just because during 2020 was like the pandemic? I felt like that isolation period is where God just kind of beat a lot of us up.
Right? Get two piece.
Yeah. So was it something that was on your heart prior to 2020, or just sitting down is when he really dealt with you and you were like, all right, this need to come to fruition. Like I really need to get the ball running.
So, funny story. Brown Girls of Tomorrow started in 2020, but the idea actually came years prior to that when I was
Mm,
a sophomore in college. But I was not listening to that call. If we're going to be transparent, I was not in a place in
mhm,
my life where I thought I was qualified enough to be doing that. So I
mhm,
said, oh, no, I cannot do that. So I put it on the back burner. You know, sometimes when you don't, well, all the time when you don't listen, God going to bring you back to that thing. And
okay.
so, and so, I'm so sorry.
No,
And
you are.
so, and so, it started there, and I put it on the back burner. But that fire that initiated it into me was when I got back to working with kids at Fort Jackson. And
Mm,
still, I wasn't ready. But 2020, like you said, the pandemic, God was really doing a thing. We was isolated, so you really had. That's all you had. Really, you can't get out the house,
mm,
so you have. I mean, all you have is God to talk to in
okay.
those moments because the isolation was tough. And so, I said, God, I gotta start this during the pandemic. We closed.
Mm,
But my obedience is why I am where I am now with my
mm.
organization.
I know that's right. Your obedience, not only your obedience, like your willingness to, just be humble within that obedience and continue to push forward that discipline aspect of it too. Yeah,
Right, yes.
that is just so beautiful. Look at those babies. Let's take a moment and say, hey, babies.
They just
You
looking
guys,
around.
especially navigating with two babies. Lord Jesus. So another thing is, has there been any challenges or obstacles that you've faced embracing your identity, and how have you navigated through them?
Definitely. Because I'm in a new territory. This is something that I'm not used to. Like I said, I'm used to being behind the scenes. Nobody know who I am. I just do that kind of stuff. But now I'm more in front of people than I've ever been in my life. And being in rooms with people that at probably 2 years ago I would have felt like I wasn't qualified to be around because they're on probably a whole nother level than me that I'm not at yet.
Mm.
And so it's kind of like at first I used to be very nervous when I got into those rooms, but the more that I realized that God don't put you in a room that you're supposed to be in. And
Come
even
on.
though you may feel like you're not qualified, he already qualified you before you step foot in that room.
Come
So
on.
I walk in with that confidence knowing that God got my back. And as long as I have God and he leads what I say and he
Mm,
helps me get the words out the way that he wants it to, it's no way I could say the wrong thing. So that's really what I rely on,
mm.
really. Um, that's all I can say. God is just so good. Like you can't go wrong when he got your back.
I know that's right. And like you said, just that they say what God, man, don't they can deem you unqualified, and you don't have to be qualified because God will qualify you, and that's absolutely true. So like how you
Amen.
say, and that's the whole beauty of the process. I mean, sitting in those rooms, you being nervous, but also being confident enough and having the faith that if God got you there, you're there for a reason, you're there for a
Right.
purpose, and He gonna continue to build and pull out that needed characteristic in you. That is just,
Yes.
oh my God, that is just so good. That is just so good. So, how do you balance everything that you have going on with being a mama between your babies at your nonprofits, your babies too?
Right, yeah. Those my extra kids.
Yeah. How do you just balance everything and still take care of Imani?
Some days it may seem like there's no balance. And it can be challenging if we're going to be honest, especially because I do have three businesses. I have my kids, I'm married, and also too, I'm also about to be in school. So I have to learn to prioritize. Like for me, because I'm somebody that's always busy, busy, busy. Sometimes I have to take time out every month to block out time because you
Mm,
can't pour from an empty cup. And so I can't be a good wife, a good mom, a good leader to my team, or a good consultant to my clients if I'm not taken care of. So that's like the key foundation first is making sure I take care of me first because I can't be all those other things if I'm not good. And so I just try my best to schedule and make sure to block out time because also family is important. When nobody else is here, family is going to always be there. So you got to still make time for those things. So I block out time for my family and for myself. And as far as business, you have to know your limits and also delegating. So
yeah.
I was not good with that, but delegating has helped my life so much because sometimes not sometimes, most all the time, especially when your business is expanding, you need a team to help you because a person can
Mhm.
only juggle but so much.
Absolutely. So let's just kind of dive in with you bringing that out. What was that journey like, giving up that control and connecting with people who really understand your vision and what you were trying to bring into fruition? What was that like?
It was hard because anybody that has a business know it's difficult because your business is your baby. But
Hmm.
I also realized that because if you take on too much, it will start affecting your health, believe it or not. And I had to say, is my health, if it's risking my health worth more than anything? And I'm just like, no, it's really not because I've had a lot of health issues. And that's no secret over the last 2 years. I've had a stroke, heart surgery, and lupus diagnosis, and X, Y, and Z. And I was like, I can't keep repeating this cycle because
Hmm.
if I do, then I will be keep going down this same path. And then also too, when it came to picking people for my business, I prayed on that first. I said, God, send me the people that is willing to do the work and do it in your will that will help the people that you have set out for me to help with whatever business it is that I'm doing.
Come
And
on.
ultimately, he sends the people because baby, like the people that I have, I'm super grateful for it, whichever business it is. They are really dedicated to the cause. And I always say God, but you got to refer back to the source when it
Absolutely.
comes to that. And also relinquishing that controlling aspect of your business. Now, of course, they don't do everything, but certain things that's just not your strengths or it's not
Mhm.
your, like, if it's your weakness, that's what you need to hand over because that ultimately can be holding you back in your business too. So, sometimes you got to let other people expertise take over sometimes in certain areas.
Absolutely. What was that like identifying for you, like your strength and your weakness? Was it just like a trial and error type of thing? Or were you
Yeah.
just like, oh, the trial and error, just like, okay, now I done failed at this a couple of times. I need to get past
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, definitely trial and error because, like I said, I started my first business in 2020. So
Mhm.
definitely trial and error because, I'd be like, ooh, this is not working, but other
Mhm.
areas is moving smoother. And I'm like, okay, maybe this might not be something I'm good at.
Yeah.
So definitely over the years, I've been able to audit myself. And something that
Mhm.
I also do is let other people audit me in business because it allows me to be better, and that's how you also can identify your weaknesses. So I would say that was the two things that I did to identify those.
And that is so good. Like audience, taking the time to look back at what you've done all together, just kind of like what areas excel, what didn't excel, and just being true to yourself and also being vulnerable enough to allow somebody to give you that corrective criticism and not
Right,
feel bad about like what you need to fix. That's definitely when you in the mindset, like, I definitely want to grow in what I'm doing type of
right.
thing. That is just, oh my God, that is so beautiful. And then just too, with you, like with all your obstacles you had, where you said like your health issues, and just like you say, juggling and knowing the importance of family and being a mother, but also being able to show up for your business. One thing I did want to ask you, because I know you said you were always the behind the scene person. What was that transition like, and just kind of being assertive and articulate in and just being confident in what you needed to say to your team?
So funny story. When it started with the nonprofit,
Hmm.
I got our first donation was at an event, and I did not know that I was gonna have to speak at this event, right? Until like the night before. And so I am not somebody that likes to speak in front of people. And I said, Lord, what am I gonna do? And so I had wrote down on some cards what I was gonna say. But the funny story is when we got there and I got in front of people, I forgot my cards at the table.
Oh
So
Lord.
so while the person was getting prepared to basically introduce me, all I could think is, Lord, please lead my words because I don't know what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
And he gave me the words to say. But I
Mhm.
would say it's terrifying, when you're first doing something that you're not used to. But I found that the more that I'm doing it, it's a lot easier
Mhm.
to do those things, because now sometimes I get put on the spot at events and stuff where I have to speak. And so the more you do something, the better you get at it and the less nervous you'll be about it, I guess you could say.
Yeah. And a beautiful thing is you being a walking example and just not saying, but actually being an example for not only your children, but the people that God has connected you to serve, and actually seeing how not only what mistakes or what challenges you go through, you continue to thrive and continue to push through that. And that is just so beautiful. Oh my God, that is just so beautiful. Because you know how I say, like, I want to connect with you and continue to do, like, because I'm at that beginning stage. But let me tell you, I always tell God, I don't know what he doing and how he doing it, because I have been in rooms where, like I say, I felt like you, where I was just like, Lord, and I had to check myself, was like, I'm here because I'm supposed to be here, and I can already feel like my confidence showing up and growing or whatnot. Because when you in these spaces and people seeing you operate the way you operate, they was like, oh my God, you are just so confident. You like, listen, the inner person in me just like, no, I'm not. Oh my God, please help me. But I can't let them see this.
Right.
So you try to hold it together. But that's the
Right.
beautiful thing about it, I swear. So have there been any role models or any source or anything that has been helpful for you throughout this journey? Like anybody, like, okay, this is my inspiration, not only just other than God, if there is anything other than God that you've been used as far as like business aspect of, to be like, okay, I like how this person do this person, like I can really resonate as far as life wise with this person. Is there anybody that has been your role model?
Definitely. I found that to start in business, you need people that get it. And you
Mhm.
also need mentors, because there's somebody that always knows more than you.
Absolutely.
And, I would definitely have to say LaShawn for number one. I feel like God placed her in my life for a reason, because she stretched me when it comes to faith, but that faith also goes into business, because sometimes you got to have crazy faith in business. And I
Mm,
never really understood that until I met LaShawn, because she gonna have some crazy faith in God, and that challenged me
mm,
to have crazy faith in God. And I will also have to say, definitely my mom, because she's overcome a lot. And just to see how much she's been through and overcome lets me know that I can overcome as well. And I would probably also still say my church family. They have been crucial, especially for the last 2 years, like in my life. And this helping me with that connection with God has been really impactful in business. And then I would also probably have to say my husband, for sure. My husband
yeah,
is my rock. He's like my
yeah.
biggest cheerleader. He keeps me focused. He keeps me, and making sure that I'm aligned with what I said I'm going to do. He holds me accountable.
Absolutely.
And I'm just super grateful for him, because he's the one that gave me the push to start in the first place. So it would not have been none of these businesses without his push. And I appreciate him more than anything for that.
Absolutely. So, I mean, just what bringing up your husband, how did you guys meet?
So, funny story, sis. It went down in the DM.
Okay, down in the deal.
But funny, he reached out to me when we were in high school, and I curved him. So
Oh, okay. Say not right now, Daddy. Not
not
right
right
now.
now, not right now. And then probably years later, I think I was my junior year of college. We
Mm,
reconnected.
okay.
And we've been inseparable ever since, and we're
Oh,
about to be celebrating our third year of marriage in
come
June.
on.
So yeah, so that's
Yeah.
kind of how it was. It was kind of like but I do
Mhm,
want to add that before I met my husband and we actually became official. The year before that, I took time to learn myself and
mm,
to spend more time with God and understand what it is that I am looking for in a spouse, and also making sure that I have the qualities for that spouse that I'm looking for.
come
So
on.
I do want to make sure I add that.
Absolutely. And that is so important, because I did like an interview on myself, and just I had to take a season because I was with my kid's father since high school, and we split now, but about 2 years or maybe a little over 2 years. And I just
Mhm.
didn't understand the importance and the benefit of being by yourself and learning yourself. And what I also want to tell anybody who's listening, the key to navigating that process is also being willing to take accountability for your actions. It's
Hello.
not so much pointing the finger, but taking accountability for how can you better yourself so you can grow more as an individual. And now and the crazy part is I just told my friend this morning, I was like, listen, girl, I don't know how I can let somebody in. I'm so comfortable with the space I'm in. Girl, I'm so comfortable with the space I'm in. I was just like, Lord, yeah, you could have to drop somebody from the ceiling. And I would be like, are you sure this you? Because I'm telling you, Imani, I am so like, because once you taste peace, like at the end of the day, you go through your obstacles. And to me, I want to be married. Partnership to me is definitely something I want. It is so beautiful. And I'm definitely at a space now because I've had 2 years to be by myself where I understand that I played the role more as a mother versus being a partner. And you got to learn how to separate the two because you chose to be in this committed relationship. So I understand and I've been doing this self work, but I'm a little selfish, girl. I like my little piece. I'm trying to tell you, I'm over here curving people in the DMs, but
You
I'm gonna
might
get
be
it
curving
together.
your blessings.
Oh
You
yeah,
never know.
I'm gonna get it together. I'm gonna get it together. Just keep praying for me. That's all right, cause I'm gonna have when you ready to interview me, when you do something different and he keeps stretching you, I'm gonna say, Imani, so funny story.
Right?
That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to hit your line on you. But that is good. So how have there been, and you pretty much talk about that, the lessons and insight you gain from exploring your identity that you would like to share with others? What's the lesson as far as like how the insight that whatever wisdom in a sense that you want to pull out was just navigating this whole shift and you just growing more as a person?
I'll say you can never say what you can't do until you try it. Because a
Mhm.
lot of the times the things that we say we can't do, we can. We just have to do it. And then once you do it, you'll surprise yourself. And so I always say don't limit yourself by the things that you think that you can only do in your, I guess, your own will. Because
Mhm.
like I said, if God got your back, you can do incredible things. You can do
Okay.
things beyond what you can imagine. And so I would definitely have to say that. Don't say what you can't do until you try it. And also, you got to really believe in you because you was really like that. You was bomb.com. You have to believe that and you have to walk in that authority knowing that you are really it and that
Mhm.
you're called to do whatever it is that you're called to do and just be bold in that knowing
Mhm.
that that's what you're called to do. So
Yeah.
that's basically the advice I would give, especially don't say can't. Do not say can't until you tried
Mhm.
it. And even if you tried it and it didn't work out the first time, don't give up. You still got to get up again and try it a different way. Maybe that way you did it. And then also consult with God because sometimes we don't consult with God. So that's why it didn't work out. So when you
Mhm.
consult with God and He gives you the instruction, you just follow it.
Absolutely. And definitely the more I grow and definitely being connected to y'all women, I just know the transformation about to be on a whole nother level.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Period. Yes, it is.
Yes. So I'm so excited for this ride. I'm trying to tell you, and I'm definitely in a space where I take that what you say because I'm over here like God. I'm inviting you in this, God. Like, I need you to really walk me through this. I need to know if this truly is for me. And like how you say, I am putting myself in spaces and places to where it would stretch me more. Because even though I am a talker and I am doing this, sometimes when people reach out to me and it's like, hey, Ashley, you want to do this talking gig? I could do this behind the camera, but you want me to talk in front of people?
Yes, ma'am.
But
Yes, ma'am.
I'm accepting it because I said if they send it that they're seeing something and they're seeing what God is doing in me. And who am I to dare dim the light that God is trying to shine through me? So
And to add to that, I'm sorry, I just have to. But when you dim your light, you probably holding somebody from hearing what God is saying through you that they need to hear.
Mhm.
So I always think about that. When you hold back on your calling or your blessing, you're holding back other people as well from not doing what you're called to do. So I just had to say that.
Yes, absolutely. Like how they always say, your testimony ain't for you. It's connected to somebody
Yes,
blessing.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Oh Lord, girl, you give me chills. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. So, looking ahead, what are your hopes and aspirations for you to continue your journey of navigating identity and self discovery? And just overall, when it comes to you and your three businesses, a mother, and just growing as an individual overall?
So I'll always say that my businesses were never created for me. It was created to help others. In any business that I have, the goal is to always help other people. So looking ahead, my goal is to make a great impact on not just South Carolina, but around the world.
Mhm,
And to also lead by example for other young women and for my daughters.
mhm,
Um, what it looks like to walk in faith and to believe in oneself boldly,
mhm,
and just do it, like, and trust God in the process. And so that's really the biggest thing for me, is leading by example, because my mentoring program is for girls. Coaching, I count I coach women and just business owners too. So that's really just the big thing, is just making an impact, a godly impact, a
come on,
kingdom impact
come
through
on.
my businesses,
Mhm,
and looking and being the example, walking example
mhm,
of what a kingdom business, a kingdom woman looks like. So that's really my vision for looking ahead, um, and just helping as many people as I can. Um,
mhm.
that's the biggest thing for me.
And that is so beautiful because your story also talk about no matter the afflictions that you had to encounter or the challenges, you always flourish. You
Yes.
always flourish because, like I said, your source is unlimited because you pulling from the Creator, God.
Yes,
So
ma'am. The
yes,
blueprint, the man with the plan, the man that
come
got
on.
everything.
Come on, come on. You know, one thing I wanted to ask you, and even if somebody, as far as navigating identity, because has been one of my challenges. Like I have people in my family who may have started businesses, but I feel like I'm the first in trying to do what I'm doing, as far as we
Mhm.
say that blueprint. So are you the first in your family was just kind of breaking those generational things and just doing what has never been done?
I will say my grandparents walked so I could run. My
Oh,
grandmother
come
had a
on.
daycare. My grandmother had a daycare for over 25 years.
Mm,
And so it's funny because I started a nonprofit and I work with middle and high school age kids.
mhm.
And I say that they walk so that I can run, is because they did the foundation work so that I don't have to, and so that I can
Come
continue to
on.
break those curses that they may not have been able to. So, will I say I'm the first person? I won't say technically
Mhm.
yes, because they tried to do with the best that they can, what they
Come
had at the time. But now that I have more resources to break those curses, I'm going to continue to do that, and my daughters won't have to.
Come on. And that is so crazy because when we've been, I think on the prayer call, and I forgot exactly what we was talking about. I think I had wrote in there like I am the answer prayer for my lineage. But you know, it doesn't start with me because just that's just like what you say. Well, my ancestors, they did with what they could have done for what the resources they had. So I am an answer prayer because I'm striving to do more for what they prayed for, and for the fact that I'm sacrificing and breaking barriers, my children, and children will be in a better place. Oh my God, girl, I am so, let
Yes,
me
ma'am.
tell you, the level of excitement I got for this ride, girl, y'all gonna be like, Ashley is a low firecracker.
Yeah, it's gonna feel like it. It is. Once
Mhm.
you get through that stretching and that out of that comfort zone, you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed because I've been on fire ever since.
I know that's right. And then I'm also learning too the importance of showing up when you don't want to.
Hello, and I say this too for anybody that is a business owner and they have events. I don't care if that registration say you only got 2 people registered. You still show up like it's a
Come
hundred.
on.
Because
Come on.
something that I know to be true is I had an event. And we had 7 kids register for that event. And I honestly was like, God, am I even supposed to have this event?
Mhm.
Y'all, the 7 turned into 30. If I
Come
would have
on,
canceled that event, that would have been 30
come on,
kids that wouldn't have been able to experience what they experienced. So
come
never
on.
cancel. Always show up because you never know the lives you impact. Just because it don't say it on the internet or on paper, don't mean that people won't show
Mhm.
up. But you'll miss it if you cancel.
Come on. Oh my God. That is just so beautiful. Well, Imani, I am so excited that you did not find it robbery to take this opportunity and to bless me and my platform with your wisdom and encouragement. So, once again, I just kind of want you to tell my audience what you do and how they can get connected to you.
Right. So, first of all, thank you again for having me. My name is Imani Peterkin. You can find me on Google pretty much, and you'll see all of my stuff if you type in Imani Peterkin, and that's Peterkin. Or you can also follow me on Instagram at the real Imani P on
Mhm.
Instagram, and those are the two main ways to find me and follow me for what's next.
I know that's right. Because you do have, can you share what you have coming up soon? Because you do have an
Yes.
event.
Yes, yes, yes. So Brown Girls Up Tomorrow, you can also Google that and it'll come up with our website. So Brown Girls Up Tomorrow is having one of our most impactful events of the year. We're having Empower Her Spark, which is a conference for middle and high school age kids in the community. It is free. We will have workshops, phenomenal speakers, and we will be focusing on self care, healthy communication, creating a safe place for the youth to come and also have fun in a safe environment. And let me add, this is a 3-day thing. So
Oh.
Friday night before conference is girls' night out, where we'll be pampering ourselves, having fun,
Mhm.
game, food, and more. And Saturday, of course, is the conference. And Sunday, we closing it out. We're meeting at Forest City at 11 p.m. for Sunday service, and that's how we're gonna close the weekend out. So if you're interested in signing up your youth, just go to our website, which is browngirlsoftomorrow.org, and we would love to have y'all there.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And look at those beautiful girls. You guys take care and definitely don't find it robbery to sign your youth up or any group that you know to share the information so that they can attend it and they can be impacted and be surrounded by powerful women of God. So, once again, I thank you, thank you, thank you. You take care. For this is the beginning of the battle, but we will win the